Thank you for joining me. We're on Project BattleStation Week 3. It's actually been more than a week, but things got kind of crazy, so I wanted to revisit this and continue. So before we dive into anything else, really, I want to acknowledge people who've actually contributed, which is amazing. I'm really impressed because I'm putting every dollar that I get off of the Game Van shop toward it, and also just pitching in extra money on top of that, but yet I'm not the one that's put the most toward it. I mean, there's overall more has actually been donated than I put in. So I've actually updated my pivot table too, because it's getting to the point where people are actually contributing more than once. So I wanted to have an accurate, nice, pretty thing where your name didn't show up more than once and it sums it well. So I've used a pivot chart, which is interesting. Right now we're listening to the Starbound soundtrack, which I got as a bonus for signing up for the beta, which is cool. So since the last time we did this video, we've had a few more people. We've had Hayes Walker, Matthew Bolt, Vincent Ackerman, Brad O'Leary, Christopher Rollinson, Fernando Costa, Mark Botrill, Zach Lynch, Hayes Walker. This guy's shown up multiple times, in fact. Marius Sagan, Robert Pestana, Matt Riker, Michael Kraus, Darren Taylor, Sheng Ho. Sheng Ho, also a repeat. You'll notice that he's just on the monthly thing. Stephen Godfrey, Valentin Birchtold, Jens Anderson, Eric Shepard, Mark Vinot, and then I'm actually not getting that much from Game Fan Shop right now because of the coupon thing, which is fine. I don't really care. I'd rather people get a good discount on it. But that's what the earnings from Game Fan Shop were in November. So overall, that's what we're looking at. So altogether, we've got $661 so far that I'll be able to spend towards a new computer. Not that I really need a whole brand new computer, but anyway, onwards. This week, we're talking about motherboards. And I'm really curious about this because I have heard that the DDR3 memory, RAM, random access memory, is going to be replaced with DDR4. I've heard that in December is when that may start happening, which makes me wonder if any of these motherboards can actually handle DDR4. So if you know more about that, or you have any resources that you can link me to, I'd love to read up on it. But in the meantime, we'll just look at the motherboards that are currently available, and hopefully something like this works out well. Now, there's also been quite a few people asking questions like, what parts of your system are you going to be replacing? And when we look at this, I'm thinking that I'm not going to be buying any monitors because I've actually I know last week we talked about monitors, but I was able to pull my 23-inch HP. I've got two HP monitors now. So before this current one, the HP 2711X, I had a 23-inch HP 2338. So they're both 1080p monitors. They're not identical, kind of annoying, but it functions perfectly. And since I'm not doing like 3-monitor surround vision Battlefield Earth games or whatever, I don't think it's really important. I just needed a second monitor, so I'm not going to be buying a new monitor. The priority items, I think, are really the CPU. It's just going to sound funny. The CPU, the motherboard, the memory, and the video card. Oh, and storage is good. I already have a good drive, so. But really, the CPU would be nice for faster rendering. Motherboard, of course, is just a good thing to have for potential SLI and like dual graphic cards stuff in the future. We'll see. So, but anyway, let's talk about motherboards. I only want to look at things that have at least some reviews. I don't care about the manufacturer. I don't even know what socket/CPU means, let alone what is good. Form factor, I also have no idea what the hell this means. I could research it, but it'd be crazy. Chipset, I feel like if I'm going with an Intel processor, maybe an Intel chipset motherboard would work better. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that just kind of makes sense. SLI Crossfire, this is... Crossfire is the name of it when you use AMD, and then SLI, I think, is when you use NVIDIA. Basically, that's where you use multiple graphics cards. I think SATA 3 GB per second ports. I do know that I need SATA. I need SATA ports because that's important when you use multiple hard drives. Obviously 6 would be better than 3. So I would prefer to have that. RAM slots. I actually know this one. I want more than 2. I want at least 4 RAM slots because I'd prefer... I want to have a lot of RAM. I'm thinking at least 16 gigabytes, probably 32. So if you're going to do 32 gigs of RAM on 2 slots, then they're going to be 16 gigabyte RAM chips, which is just stupid. You'd be much better off having 4 4s or 4 8s, I think. That's from what I've heard. As long as they're on the right timing or something. So we'll look at the bigger ones. Max RAM. Obviously, we don't want to look at anything that's smaller than 16. And really, if I'm going to be building a new computer that's supposed to be somewhat future-proof, let's just make the decision. We're going with 32 gigabytes of RAM. It has to have 32 gigs. That's what we're going to do. Onboard video. This one I'm kind of torn on because my experience with onboard video with my current computer, it's really irritating. The damn graphics, there's an integrated graphics chip made by Intel. It's the Intel 4400, I think. Where is it? Looking for... Why am I like completely drawing a blank? Why is it in a strange order? It's alphabetized that way. That's dumb. You have an unknown device. That's always a good sign. Display adapter. So yeah, an Intel HD Graphics 4000. This is the integrated graphics chip. And sometimes it causes problems. Like in the past, I've had to actually go into the BIOS and disable the damn integrated graphics chip just to let the AMD do its job. So I'd kind of maybe prefer just to not even have an onboard video card. But then again, the advantage to the onboard video card, right now, I have the onboard video card powering the secondary monitor because it doesn't do any real rendering of graphics. It's just, Twitch chat and stuff like that. I don't know what any of this means. I don't know what that means. Color means nothing to me. I mean, it's inside the damn case. Why would color matter? So all that being said, we really haven't filtered too much. The Asus Rampage 4 Extreme, $400. I feel like spending money on a motherboard is important. And by the end of this, I've still got maybe a month or two before I'm actually going to start buying things. I expect I'll have a fair bit of money just from the increased sales from Game Fan Shop. And as you probably know, December is a pretty good month for YouTube. So I think we'll be able to buy pretty much anything we want. So I don't know. Eight RAM slots. If 32 gigs is insane, I wonder how crazy it would be to just go straight to 64 and just say, you know what? There's no way any program we could possibly use would ever use all this RAM, but let's just get it anyway. And I had heard about a very interesting thing you can do where you can actually use your RAM as a drive. Like if you have 32 gigabytes of RAM, to actually have like a 16 gigabyte RAM drive, which you can use, it's called a RAM disk. RAM disk. We'll look at RAM, okay, well, RAM drive is what they call it apparently. But there's an interesting Wikipedia article here where you can take RAM, has no mechanical parts, so it's very, 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 very fast, and you can use it for interesting stuff. So it's something to look into. If you had a lot of RAM, maybe it could be done. Of course, I have an SSD, so I guess that's probably fine. Right now, I don't even know what I have. How funny is that? I have an ASRock Z75 Pro 3, which I'm imagining is going to be in here. ASRock Z75 Pro 3. It might not even be in here because it's old. It's like a year old. Actually, there's 53 entries of ASRock, so it is probably in this list. ASRock Z... Oh, you know what? I might have excluded it with some of my settings. I don't think that this current hard drive can actually accept 30. I don't think it's... I think the cap's 16 on this one. Or it doesn't have as many slots or something. But anyway, that's the one that I have right now. And these things seem cheap. Doesn't this seem cheap to you? $100 for a motherboard? I mean, the motherboard's the brain of the whole thing. Like, here, let me show you how completely ignorant I am to how computers work. This is the way I understand it. So, the motherboard is the brain. The motherboard tells everything what to do. The processor is like the crunching power. It's what does all the calculations and like does all of the actual work. But it's not really, it's all about like speed and power and all that stuff. RAM is random access memory. That's what's used to like open programs and like store information in memory to be processed by the processor. Hard disks obviously are to store data. It's usually not used except for when it's just being stored for later. The front side bus is the actual thing that communicates between the motherboard, the processor, the RAM, and the graphics card and all that stuff. Graphics card obviously is just renders what's going to go up on the screen. Like your computer could run just fine without a graphics card. It could run just fine without a monitor. But we need those things so that we can actually integrate and interact with the motherboard and the processor. So, to me, if this is the damn brain of the whole thing, like, man, I don't even remember how much I spent on the ASRock. Let's just find out. How much is an ASRock Z3, whatever the hell it's called? No, we don't want to go there. We want to go to Newegg. Let's go to Newegg or Amazon. It's not even available on Amazon, apparently. We'll see it. Check it out on Newegg. Yeah, it's $77. Man, that thing's cheap. 77 bucks? To me, I'm surprised. Of course, I built this computer before I even considered doing anything on YouTube, so I didn't, you know, I just got what made sense. But that is not a lot of money to spend on a motherboard. I feel like I should probably have a good motherboard. So, let's wrap this video up, because this is going on way too long. I'm just going to say the Asus Rampage is be like the crazy one that you'd buy, or maybe the ASRock Extreme. Who knows? 8 RAM slots, 64 gigabytes of RAM. I don't know what form factor is. Somebody please tell me. It seems like the big ones all have like EATX or just ATX. Socket CPU, I don't know what that means either. This one's got good reviews. Alright, let's not go with that one. So this is the best one. So choice number 1. So we'll just open that in a new page and save it for later. Alright, so there's number 1. Medium choice would be maybe the Asus. Let's go with the Asus Sabertooth. That one's got 75 positive reviews. Can only go up to 32 gigs, and I'm actually kind of thinking 64 would be awesome. But let's say that's number 2. And then on the low ends, I could always just keep my current processor, current motherboard, but for $100, maybe it makes sense to go with like the an upgraded ASRock or something. Asus. The ASRock Z77. I have the Z75, so the Z77 must be better, right? Can go up to 32 gigs. Yeah, call that one that. So there's the choices, I think. Let me know what your thoughts are, though. I mean, is the motherboard as important as I think it is? I think it's a big deal. It must be. It has to be, right? It's the brain of the thing. So, and then keep in mind what I mentioned about like potential overall video stuff. Like, I want to have lots of RAM because I do expect to start editing more in the future. And I understand RAM is supposed to help out with loading things into memory and actually being able to modify them in like Sony Vegas and stuff. But then again, I want fast CPU. I'm even interested in, I wanted a slave system. Slave computer system. I was reading about this master slave. I know that it sounds, you know, like slavery, but where one device or process has unidirectional control over one or more other devices. I'm wondering if it's possible if I could set up inside the network here in the office, if I could set it up so that this computer, the one I'm using right now, could be a slave system to the new system, and actually maybe help out with, like, I don't know, help out somehow, contribute extra processing power or something. I'll have to read into this more, but let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I will see you in the next video. So thank you. See you again soon.